Hey heroes, welcome to the RedDoor Hero Podcast, where we discuss the real estate industry hustle with experts and agents just like you. I am your host, Ali Makani, with my partner here, Heather Harmon.
Hello.
Today's guest, Scott Juneau from Remax Gold in Rockland. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome rainy day out there today, so thank you for making the drive.
I am way more of a sun guy. That's why I live in California. The rain is not my friend. I do not like the rain.
Very good. How was 2019?
Oh my gosh, roller coaster, straight adventure. But I love adventure. So it's always fun. I always look forward to the following year too. So build on the last.
That's awesome.
I don't know.
That's awesome. Well, you're kicking us off with this podcast, so we
Right? I'm
appreciate.
super excited about this. I was like, I'm the first one. I'm like,
You
what?
are the first one.
Great. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember, obviously, you came to our open house. That was great. That was a good conversation that we had. So we thank you for joining us. We have some questions that we want to ask. It's just more about learning more about what you do, what
Sure.
you see as challenges, and maybe we pick something out and dive in a little bit more and
Sounds
see what
good.
we can do with that.
Sounds good.
I'll start if that's okay.
Yeah,
Heather?
absolutely.
Love to learn more about how do you use social media for your business, for your brand. If you could kind of walk us through that a little bit.
I think the biggest thing with social media is the brand. You are your brand. You're selling yourself. Like social media is always going to be about you half the time. So especially when it comes to real estate, like real estate, you're not trying to sell the home. What you're trying to do is you're trying to sell somebody on you as a person. Because ultimately they're going to buy you. You're just going to be that mediator. It's going to take them to the houses. They go, here, how about this one? Hey, how about this one? But if they don't like you as a person, then they're not going to use you. So my social media is really based on myself, my family, what I do, my likes, my interests, ultimately to get people to like who I am first, then to go, oh my gosh, I can relate to you because of, hey, I drink tea or I drink coffee too, or, you do this. Like, for instance, I'm a Raiders fan. There's a lot of people that are Raiders fans, a lot of people that aren't Raiders fans. So, I may coexist somebody with like that. I have 2 kids. People who have kids or that have activities like I do, that my kids are constantly busy. They're like, oh my gosh, I have that life too. So social media for me, especially when it comes to the brand, is always going to be about me. And then I will kind of tie my business into it or in one way, shape, or form. So if I'm doing an open house, I'll post on there, oh my gosh, look at me, I'm doing an open house, blah, blah, blah. Go live on Facebook, go on Instagram. Just let people know, hey, look, this is what I'm doing today.
How do you see when you're building the brand that is you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how far do you take it? As in, how much of your life? You just said,
Yep.
kids and your sport, your sports fan,
Yep.
your name of your team. How far do you go down on the social media for building your own personal brand, and you're comfortable with sharing that in the public media?
I will share almost anything I would with like my best friend. So if good, bad, ugly, it's going to go on Facebook. It's going to go on Instagram, because here's the thing. People will always post all the good things on Facebook or Instagram. Like, hey, look what's going great in my life. But nobody really posts the bad stuff. Mm-hmm. Like if you post the bad stuff, people go, oh my gosh, now I can relate to you even more because, hey, I went through that, or I had that go on in my life. So whether it's, me getting a new client for real estate, whether it's my dog passing away, whether it's something in that shape or form, that's what I'm going to post on Facebook or Instagram or my social media, because that's what people want to see. People want to see that you're real.
Keeping it
real.
real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't want to see that you are someone that possibly just, hey, everything is always good in my life. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm always a half cup full kind of guy. I'm optimistic, pessimistic. I am that type of person where I rarely have a bad day, but when I do, I'm going to let you know, like, oh my gosh, this happened to me. And they're like, oh my God, like what happened? What's going on? It's conversation, especially with social media.
What I noticed that there's a lot of people that try to do social media,
Mm-hmm.
and but they struggle. I think they struggle to figure out what to say, when to say it, and all that. So how do you go about that? I mean, one thing to share about your personal life and things like that, but
Yep.
how do you strategize that? Because the end goal is you want someone to engage with you,
Absolutely.
right? You know, you got to provide some kind of value that the person on the other side says, you know, I think I want to reach out to Scott, you know? So how do you go about, you know, kind of, what is that value strategy that you do to kind of with your posts and your engagements?
Biggest thing for me is like, if you post something and you have to look at your post and going, okay, what am I trying to get out of my post? You know, am I trying, as an influencer on social media, are you trying to grab new clients? Are you trying to get someone to buy you? What are you trying to do with your post? That's number one. You know, are you just letting people know, like, informational, like, hey, look, this is what my post's about, or are you trying to grab someone particular's attention? You know, because depending on what you post, it's going to grab different people's attention. On the other thing is how engaged are you on social media? So, like, say you guys post something, you know, but you don't engage with anybody else's posts. You just post something and then go off on your day, and then you come back to it and you're like, why did I only get like 2 likes, or why did I only get 1 comment on it? Well, with social media, it's all about algorithms. The algorithm is this: if you post something and you don't comment on anybody else's post, or you don't like posts, or you don't actually engage with somebody, you're not going to get anything back. So if you're looking for that engagement, like, you have to go to other people's posts. You have to go on there and go, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to like this, but be genuine about it.
Right.
Like, you can't just go, hey, nice shoes. That's, you know, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
I got to be like, oh my gosh, where'd you get those? I love those, or something like that. Or, oh my God, that watch is fantastic. Something like that.
Right.
You have to be genuine on social media, or people will call you out on it.
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean, there's a balancing act as well, right?
Absolutely.
I'm assuming,
Absolutely.
You decide how much of your time you're going to spend on that, and how much of it is going to be an opportunity for
correct.
Some kind of result coming out of it.
Yeah.
Do you use any tools to help you with the social media stuff, or you're just a hands-on guy? You're going to go through every one of these
You know what?
channels?
I mean, my wife and I, we've been in network marketing for 6 years. So, I mean, we've seen kind of social media 6 years ago, and all of a sudden social media is now. You know, it is one of those things where I think a lot of things have gone to social media. Like, as far as like tools go, it's more of like listening to people that are in the industries, kind of seeing like what's working for them, or talking to other people that are possibly like social influencers. Okay, what are you doing that you're getting so many people to interact with you on social media? And for us, that's kind of been our niche, is like, okay, we have to be able to engage with people on social media. We have to be able to take things, you know, further, as far as like getting people to, you know, either comment on our stuff or message us or answer back, you know, because you could send someone a message and they're just like, I'm not going to answer that. I don't know who you are. But if you've been engaging on their posts and then you send them a message and then they go, oh my gosh, oh yeah, I remember this. He said, oh, my kids look great, or first day of school kind of thing, or whatever it may have been. Okay, I'll answer it because I feel like I know him. You know, I get a ton of people, my wife and I will be in public, and they'll go, oh my gosh, we know you guys from Instagram. Or, oh my gosh, I love your kids. We've seen them, we've seen them on Facebook. And we'll kind of go, oh, thanks. Who are you? Who was that? Who was that? We don't know who that was, you know, kind of thing. And that's the thing that, you know, as far as like influencing goes and social media, that's what you want. You want people to see your stuff that may have never, ever commented on it, but they see you.
Right.
So as far as tools go, you know what? It is one of those things where you literally just have to do it. Like, you can't read books. You can't read books about it because it's constantly changing. Mm-hmm. Like, the algorithm in Facebook and Instagram changes every day. It changes by the hour. You know, whether you post something and then it gets like 100 likes, and you post the same thing the next day and it gets 5 likes. Why? Nobody knows. It's just how it is. So you got to stay ahead of that wave.
So being hands-on, being authentic, and engaging authentically
absolutely
is your bullet list of how to be effective at social media.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we see it, right? I mean, we watch a lot of agents that are active and post, and they really post good information. Yeah. And I think that's the key, right? It's like, yes, if you're building your own brand and you're trying to promote yourself to make a connection at the human level, perfect, right? Yeah. Or those who are sharing information that are value or more about statistics and insights and things like that, which, you know, there are buyers that look for that, right?
Absolutely.
I think one of the challenges that I see from the real estate agents who are trying to use social media is that they repeat the same thing over and over again, or they just repost something that they see without doing their own take on it, right? Just because there was an article that you want to share, just reposting that article really doesn't have much value if you don't put your voice on that, right?
Absolutely.
So that's, so when I hear you talk about building your brand on social media, you're building your brand based on adding value around you as the person, so you could connect. And I think it's fantastic. And then there's the other spectrum. I just think that more people need to think through what is their value when they post, so they could get better engagement.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very cool. As you go through your day, how much time do you spend on a daily basis on your social media activity?
I think it just depends on what my day looks like. Because some days are going to be slower than others. There's some days where I have a ton of things going on and maybe I can't, get on social media as much as I want. But if you think about social media, and it's usually on your cell phone, just sitting here before we got started, I mean, all three of us basically looked at our phone at one time or another just to kind of see what was going on. So if you have 5 minutes in your day, or if you're waiting for something, like you're sitting in your car waiting for your kids, you have time to do something on social media. So as far as like a timeline of how much time I spend in a day, it's going to vary. It'll be one of those things where if like in the morning before I get my kids off to school, before I wake them up, I'll post something, and then my wife and I will get the kids going, but we don't touch our phones until we actually get them out for school, because we want that time together as a family. Once they're off to school, then possibly the both of us are back, doing something with social media, then we'll work back home, do breakfast, then jump back on. So it just kind of flows within the day. If you try to if you think about maybe doing 1 hour, like one straight hour of social media, you're gonna dedicate. Look, I'm gonna give 1 hour between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock in the morning, and then another hour in the evening. You then have two different dynamics of people that you're going to get interest from. The people that are on social media in the morning, and the people that are on social media in the evening because they work during the day or whatever may have been. So you have that ability to get on both people. If you can dedicate just at least an hour of your day into social media, I think that's pretty much what we do. And then any small times in between that.
Nice. Do you track the economic side of your social media activity
every day
and what you get in return?
Yep, every day. Because it's one of those things where you look back on the previous day, and I'm like, okay, I posted at 10 o'clock, but I got nothing. But I posted at 9, all of a sudden I get a bunch. So maybe I'll try posting earlier to see what's there. Afternoons usually a pretty good time. People are at lunch. People jump on their phone. Oh, I finally get my phone. Let me jump on them at lunch. Evening times between like 5 and 7, when people are finally getting home from work, getting situated, sometimes not as good, but 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock during that bedtime hours, or when kids are finally in bed, people engage. So I think it's looking at your life and relating it to other people's lives. Okay, well, I don't do anything in the morning between 6 and 8 because of my kids, but I'll do something post 8 o'clock. Okay. Does that work? Is everybody else doing the same thing? Yeah, because everybody's getting ready for work. Nobody has time to jump on social media and sit there. So yeah, I'm definitely looking at economically what time I'm posting and that kind of stuff.
Very cool. How many, without, you could embellish a little bit, but how many buyers that actually finish a transaction with you that you got through your social media activity in 2019?
So I got my license in June of 2019.
Okay.
So I've only been an agent for 7 months now. I have that have gone through the entire process and finished it from social media, 2.
It's not bad.
That's a really good economic.
Yeah. So 2 so far. I have others in the pipeline. We're looking for homes. So obviously we're not in escrow right now, but I've gotten a handful from social media.
Do you have a goal for 2020?
From social media? I would love at least 12. I figure 1 a month. If I can get 1 a month to come off from social media. And it's all local. I mean, it's finding local people. But here's the thing. I mean, I have friends that have moved out of the area but are still on my social media. They're like, oh, I have this friend or I have this friend. And it's a referral system. So 12 is my goal for 2020.
Nice.
I think would be a good number.
That'd be successful.
I'd be happy.
Yeah.
So the goal is 12.
Mm-hmm.
And you did 2 using through this channel last year.
Yep.
How do you track those engagements once you have them? Do you have a CRM tool that you use? Are you more of an Excel spreadsheet kind of guy? You just know it and you just respond to it?
I wish I could say I knew it and respond to it. We're not. My wife and I were pen and paper. Like we are literally write it down, see it in like a notebook, constantly go back to it and update it as, time goes on. Because I can put it in my phone, but half the time I forget about it. If I have it in like my planner, my daily planner, like, hey, I put it like 2 days ahead, forward, like, follow up with this person. So pen and paper, I think is best for me, just because it makes me like remember as I'm writing it down. Like, from the previous time. A lot of people are going to say, no, I need it on my phone or this, that. But I'm like, I've tried it. It didn't work for me. Yeah. So I think it's more of like, it's going to be the agent. It's going to be on the agent.
Yeah. The rule is whatever you'll use is the best tool.
Exactly.
So if yours is pen and paper and you know that, then that's the best tool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So in the world that you live in, so you're doing a lot of social media.
Yep.
You manage your own follow-ups and managing those leads and engagement and nurturing. At the end of the day, you have to connect to your buyers. What is your preference? Do you call them, email them, text them,
DM them?
Right.
Yeah.
Drone messages.
I think the best, it depends on the age group. It really, I have a buyer right now that is text, loves texting. If I call them, they hardly ever answer. But if I throw them a text right after I call them, they'll answer it. So texting for them is the best. I've had buyers that are, middle-aged, upper, or even like early 50s that they're like, no, I want a phone call. But I think it just depends on the buyer. Like as an agent, you have to know your buyer. Like you need to know like, okay, which way of communication is going to be best for you, and as an agent, you need to know what way is best for you. I don't get me wrong. I love my cell phone and I can do everything I want from my cell phone. I can email, I can text, I can call, direct message you, whatever it may be. But for me, I'm going to look at my buyer and kind of see which way is best for them, and sometimes the best way to get a hold of them is their social media. Mm-hmm. I may call them or text them, they don't answer it, but I send them a DM on Instagram. They're like, oh yeah, I'm like, I just text you. Like, did you not see that one? Like, what's going on? So,
well, I could tell you lots of stories where, we get a text, we get a call, we get an email.
Yep.
And then we get a text, a call, and an email going, did you get my text, my call, or my email? So I relayed. So
yeah.
But I think it's strange that in the industry that we're in, we want to categorize the consumer's behavior by their age.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the case. I think we need to categorize our consumer based on their habits and then figure out how to, go after those habits, right? It's funny, this morning, we have an engagement with a potential client. He in his email told us he's a 55-year-old, but he is completely wanting everything to be done on text. And no, don't call me, don't email me.
Okay.
So age is not. I don't think age is the qualifier.
Right. No. Yeah.
I think we need to learn more about what is their habit, right?
Yeah.
And how what is their preference.
Completely agree.
And go after them.
Yep.
Because I think we use the word millennials.
Yeah, I was
pretty
going to
loosely.
say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's become this general term of referencing an age, but it's not. It's a set of characteristics of people that are choosing or optimizing into having a tech experience. And that is not limited by a demographic of age anymore.
Right. No, and it's really not, because there, I mean, for instance, like, so my grandpa, he is all about a computer. Like, he's like, that's what he is, a computer engineer. Well, he's 72. So now it's like all of a sudden he knows more about computers than I would ever know about computers. So, I mean, it's so that for that, I mean, he does so much on social media, so much through email, so much through computers that he just shows me all these things. And I'm going, how did you even know that? He goes, oh, I found it on, I'm like, oh my God. And then, but you see the younger group, they use social media for different things.
Right.
You know, so I mean, I think it's one of those things where you have to look at them as a person and go, okay, how do you want me to communicate with you? Right. What will be the best way? Would you rather always get together face to face? Do you want to do it over the phone? You want to do it through text? It's just,
right.
You know, and for me, I'll ask them straight up front, like, hey, is it better to talk to you through text or call you, or how's that? Well, don't call me between this hour and this hour. It's better just send me a text. All right, perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in this world that we live in, we know that probably 75% of our buyers are wanting some kind of a technology solution on their way of acquiring the home or go through the process, right?
Yeah.
So we know we have to do that. We know we have to enable them. So I just want to hear your perspective on use of technology in just as a marketplace that we're playing with.
Yeah.
What's your thought? What do you think that tech is doing or will do in regards to customer engagement?
I mean, tech just in general is evolving. Everything is becoming technology. Everything is going technology's way. Obviously, like I said, I do a lot of things on pen and paper just because that's what I feel comfortable with. But a lot of things now are going to that technology industry to where it makes everything streamlined and go faster. Rather than writing a letter, putting it in the mail, waiting for the mailman to come pick it up and then take it to somewhere else and it gets delivered. Then all of a sudden it's like 2 days later. Well, I can literally just type it in an email, send it, and it's there within like 10 seconds. So I think with technology, it's always evolving. It's always going to be different. It's always going to get better. I mean, some things get better, some things may not get better. But I think with technology, especially in our industry, it's a whole lot more handy to have it at the palm of my hand.
Right.
To where someone goes, hey, can you take a look at this address for me? Absolutely. Pull it up on my phone. Send them back information. Well, it's blah, blah, blah. It's been on the market for 40 days. But a lot of that now, it can be found by our buyers.
Right.
People can shop for a house without ever going anywhere. So I mean, I think that's the great thing. Like for what you guys do, they literally can just sit in their pajamas on their couch and never go anywhere and get a pre-approved for a house. They can then contact a realtor. They can then go shopping for a house online without ever having to go anywhere until they actually have to go and actually look at a house.
Right.
Right.
But other than that,
yeah, and some of them might not even want to look at the house anymore, right?
Exactly, right? I mean, they see all the pictures online, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, I think it's good. Or they may just jump in their car and drive by it. Who knows? I mean, you may never ever actually go inside the house, So I think with technology, it's becoming one of those things where I don't want to say people are getting lazy, but people are so busy now that they don't have time to actually like go do something. They're like, I just need it fast now. I just want to get it done.
And that's the expectation.
Yeah.
Is that tech is going to facilitate this process being simple and easy for me.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could relate to, as you were saying that, I was thinking and I'm going, we got so excited. I'm a big tech user, right? We got so excited when Amazon, said, hey, we're going to deliver, right? We're going to deliver, right? So we're like,
Amazon.
Perfect, right? Then they came up and said, we're going to deliver in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, that's fantastic, right? Then they came out and said, we're going to do same day. Amazon now, right? It's like, you want it, I'll bring it, right? And I love it. I'm a big, user, right?
I am too. I'm right there with your Prime.
So tomorrow is Amazon before.
Right?
I know.
I
Before I
know.
even thought
Like,
about it.
you ordered this tomorrow. What? No, I didn't. I wanted it, but no, you ordered it.
Right.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
So yeah, so I think technology has a lot to
it
do
does.
with what we do, how we do things in the future.
Yeah.
Because it's not so much about us. I feel like our consumers
Yeah.
are the ones that's going to tell us that's what they want, right? I mean, if I throw the word TikTok, half of the audience, actually 90% of the audience wouldn't even know what that is.
I know.
Right?
It's crazy though.
But guess what?
It will explode.
It will explode.
Well, yeah.
3 years from now,
Yep.
4 years from now, when that 22-year-old is now 27, 30,
Right.
and looking to go through a purchase transaction, you know, he or she is used to TikTok, not Instagram, not Facebook. So agents also have to, you know, find their kind of niche on how to learn that lingo.
Yes. And if you have kids, that's the advantage.
That's right.
My kids are on TikTok, and I'm like, how do you use this again? Like, show me this again? Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you adopt? Are you an early adopter of these social media marketing platforms to get yourself up to speed? Tell me a little bit more about your style.
So love listening to Gary Vee.
Okay.
And he is, I mean, if you don't listen to him, I mean, yes, he's a little brash, but at the same time, what he says, a lot of it's like, that's going to come true. Like, so he says, TikTok, give it 5 years, it will explode more than Facebook, more than Instagram, which most of us are like, no, I can't do that. But if you think about it, MySpace was the first platform.
Right.
And then Facebook came out. And then all of a sudden it was Instagram. And then kind of LinkedIn jumped in there a little bit. And now it's this TikTok, or I'm sorry, now it was Snapchat. And Snapchat kind of took a back burner. Now it's TikTok, because now, oh my gosh, I can do all these cool videos. I can add music. I can do all these like cool, interesting things, and I can engage with so many more people.
Right.
You know, so if you have a platform that you can engage with everything. Now, don't get me wrong. TikTok is for the younger age group. I would say like not elementary, but like junior high school kids. Right. But it's like you said, in 5 years, that high school kid that was like 17 is now, 22, 23. Well, guess what? They're looking to buy a home, and guess what? Now you're on their TikTok, and they now see, oh my gosh, I remember him. He, blah, blah, blah. Right. So no, I love the early adapting to things. My wife was on Snapchat. I never got on Snapchat. I didn't, the whole filter thing, I was kind of like, I'm good. I didn't want to do that. But my wife's on it, and she has a huge following on Snapchat. I'm like, all right, cool. But TikTok, I have TikTok. I just kind of started playing with it and using it a little bit, because there's a lot of cool little video stuff you can do with it. And it is one of those things where there's a ton of people on it. So I adapt just because things will always change.
Right.
Things are always going to change. Something always new is going to come around. Something better, faster, whatever it is. So
Right.
Adapt and adjust.
Yeah, we'd still be on net zero and
Ooh,
MySpace if we hadn't evolved. So
I love MySpace. Top 8. Let's go.
I know.
Old school.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you, I mean, you're a new agent, right? So I mean, you've been in the industry for just less than a year.
Yeah.
This is a competitive market. It requires not only skill set, knowledge, but also charisma and that personality, right? So you learned a lot in this first year. You tried a lot. What would be your advice for someone that is is starting this journey? Now, what would you have to tell them?
I think one of the things I told my mentor before I got into this industry, I was like, I wish I would have done so much more on my social media prior to me actually getting my license. I think if I would have, done more on my social media with me going through the classes or going through the online classes and then going to take the state test, like prior to me getting my license, because it was amazing at how many people I messaged after I got my license, and they're like, oh my gosh, why didn't you tell me this like 2 months ago? Or I wish you would have said this, a couple weeks ago, I just listed my house or something like that. So for new agents, if they're on social media, I would just tell them like straight out, before you even get your license, start promoting yourself. Like start branding yourself now. Even if you don't know who you're going to hang your license with, or you don't know which direction you're going to go yet, but you're in the process of getting it, I just start telling people now. Like tell them now, tell them that you're going. If you're an agent that's like seasoned and you've been in the industry for a while, tell people that too. Like tell them like, I have this experience, I have this, I'm super excited to jump on social media. I'm super excited to take this next avenue down this path, to use social media as a new tool for me, because a lot of people that, have never really used social media, will start to build a following based off of, A, B, and C. So for the new agent, I would just tell them, start messaging people now on social media, get on there, let people know like, hey, I'm about to become a real estate agent who's looking to buy or sell. Once I get my license, we can work, blah, blah, blah. So
it's good advice.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, we're coming to the end of this first podcast.
Whew, that was fun.
I learned a lot just trying to figure out how far I need to keep my mouth from this mic. So I appreciate you doing this with us.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Great insight. I mean, I think it's important for people to know, that you don't have to just repeat or copy someone else. You have to be genuine.
Yep.
You got to find your niche. You got to believe in your niche and just,
stick with it.
Let people know about it. So I think that's important. Thank you for sharing. So last parting words from Heather.
I appreciate the message of authenticity and being committed and really courageous with your brand. So you have to get out there, you have to do it, you have to dig in and be consistent. So it's all good stuff, good words from Scott Juneau, especially for new agents that are getting started today to leverage their social media and drive new business through your social media channels.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And essentially with people who want to work with you for who you are because you've shown them who you really are.
Yep.
So that also creates a better environment for working.
That's right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool.
Well, this was
Well,
fun.
here's to 2020.
That's
Right?
right.
Thank you.
We'll get those 12 transactions.
I know. I got to get to work.
There you go. Thank you, Scott.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you
Thanks,
very much,
Scott.
Heather. Thank you very much.